I have no problem with Elon Musk. In fact, I like Elon Musk. I've met Elon Musk. I think he's a very intelligent, capable individual. I do not like Tesla. It's not that I don't like Tesla. I don't like the people who drive Teslas, including you, and I don't like the camaraderie that they all have. I don't like the community that has been built around a car. That being said, I have no problems with EVs. I have no problems with his Starlink satellites and whatever. I do not agree with him that he believes Austin is Shangri-La. I think I've been open about that. But if Elon Musk can restore some freedom to Twitter, he should. And if that results in other tech companies understanding that these companies are a version of the public square, and you cannot exclude people for asking very reasonable questions about vaccines or where a virus came from, especially when 6 months later, the things people are banned for are now openly discussed on the platform. And sometimes it's even shorter than 6 months. It's like 1 month turnaround where an idea goes from ban them, it's racist, it's misinformation, to, oh, this is a widely held mainstream belief. That happened pretty quickly with the origins of COVID. And I think even with the vaccine, people started asking more questions. I don't know why every person was banned from Twitter that got banned from Twitter, but I do know that Twitter bans people in a way that often confuses them, and they don't quite understand why they've been banned. They don't have any recourse. Musk said maybe a suspension would be a better idea than a ban, which is certainly interesting. The big debate was Trump. I think that would have been good. A timeout for Trump might have been better than a full suspension. So that's what you have. But again, you're buying a hornet's nest, right? You're buying Twitter. It's a nightmare. The app is bad. It's people trying to make a point in 140 characters. Everybody's fighting with everybody else. It is not a place to have productive conversations. It has fully degenerated into a hellscape, which he now owns. It does not make a lot of money. Josh Brown from CNBC made a good point. It makes $3.5 billion, which is what the Olive Garden makes. And Twitter is the Olive Garden without the food. It's the same people screaming and yelling, but without the food. You have the blue check marks on Twitter. Here's the thing with Twitter, right? There are people on Twitter who just don't exist in real life. Like they fully really don't have a following outside of Twitter. Right. They don't have any impact on the culture outside of Twitter. Yet they've been able to amass a large following and have some type of effect, impact, whatever, being on Twitter. It's a fascinating place because there are people on Twitter that kind of exist on Twitter. Like, yeah, I'm not even going to say names, but like there are people that you go, oh, you're like a Twitter person. You're in the Twitterverse. That's where you live, And it's funny being, again, in another country where the conversations I've had with people about it are very like, okay, Elon owns Twitter. Cool. Like our Uber driver today was like, maybe he'll get the bots out. There's too many bots because whatever. That guy is being bothered by bots. He's an old guy. I don't think he's even on Twitter, but yeah, the bots. He's going to get him. Okay. But then you have a lot of people on Twitter that Elon bought it and it's ruining their life. They're like, he's a demon and it's going to be hate speech and I want to be the only one to hate people. I want to be hateful. That's it. Just me. Get off. Log out. Get the fuck off. No, literally, I haven't been on it really as heavily. We've been traveling around the world. You've been uploading clips and shit like that. It is better when you're not in it every day, inundated with it. Just get off. Just log off. He's a demon. He's ruining it. He's going to make it okay to be hateful on Twitter. It's the whole point. The whole point of it is to be hateful to other people in hopes that you win. That's what Twitter's about. It's about winning, wrecking people. That's what it's about. We have this culture war where each side has an investment in destroying the other side and winning. There's no more détente. There's no more live and let live. There's no more like, hey, what my neighbor does, whatever, doesn't affect me. Now it's like there's going to be a war. And the war is on this fucking website called Twitter, where you type from your fucking phone in between bites of your Panera sandwich and then keep checking back to see how much traction you're getting. That's the great war that everybody's fighting. And hey, Elon wants to own it. Maybe he can help it. I don't know. He's going to add an edit button. I don't know. It's, I think it is a positive for people like myself who tend to believe that tech in America has become far too aligned with one ideology. And that is a problem. It is a problem when Vijagade, I don't know how to pronounce her name, is crying in a meeting because Elon Musk is now the owner of Twitter and she can no longer censor the people that she wants to censor at the drop of a hat, like the Hunter Biden laptop story where they go, well, it's forged, it's hacked documents, and we've got a policy about hacked documents, and it's applied evenly. And it's like, well, well, let's see how evenly it's applied. Let's go back through it. But the reality is, like, to be that invested in an entire website that's incredibly powerful, being used to further one person or one narrative at the expense of all others, eliminating people, hurting their ability to communicate with others, their ability to earn an income. None of that is good. And tech has been, everybody that works in tech is non-binary. That's odd to me. It's odd that they all are non-binary. Like 4 out of the 7 people that are being quoted. I mean, again, I suck dick. If I walked in to any company and 6 out of 9 people that worked there were gay, I would be a bit surprised because it just statistically would go, if it was an interior design company, I'd be less surprised, okay? But any company, if it was like, they're quoting all these people that work at Twitter, they are all non-binary. It's interesting. All of them. Any non-binary Republicans over there? Any country club non-binary Republicans? I mean, I'm waiting for that because what it really seems like is a sort of kind of becoming a political identity as well. I mean, all these quotes I'm reading are from engineer who is non-binary. It goes, well, I am afraid and I live in fear that Elon Musk will allow someone to speak that will upset me. I live in fear and this website's over. I will not work here anymore. And they're all non-binary. And you go, okay, interesting. Pointing it out. Not saying anything good or bad about it. I'm pointing it out. I'm allowed to point it out. Who the fuck runs Patreon, by the way? And if they're non-binary, great. I'm just pointing it out. I'm allowed to point it out, right?
Absolutely.
I'm allowed to point it out. If a Texas oil company, many of them would be fundamentalist Christians. Okay?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, because again, I get it. There seems to be, in addition to the religiosity of, there is also a social component to identity as well. And it's just interesting to notice. It's interesting to note. That's all. Interesting to note. So that's the biggest story in America right now is that Elon Musk has bought Twitter. And it's nice to not be in America where people are just going, oh, raw, Elon, yeah, raw. And then you just move on. And it's not people that are like, yeah, let's go. Elon, take it over. We're going to fucking ride again, bitch. Or the other side of it, it's like, here's the demon. God, I I can't do it anymore. Like the people that think that Elon is going to single-handedly, save the world, or I am really suspect of hero worship. I like the guy, but he can't even figure out where to live. He picked a real dump. I would respect Elon so much if he's like, oh, yes, Austin's a dump. Like if he got out and he goes, Austin's the dump. I would respect that. Because then we'd wonder if what's his name would have to change his tune. You know who I'm talking about. The biggest podcaster in the world, Tony Hinchcliffe. But I wonder if Elon just came out and was like, yeah, it's a dump. Yeah, I came here and, now that I look around, I realize it's a shit. But I don't know, man. All the things that people are afraid of getting chipped, Elon loves. People becoming, what did Alex Jones say? Surrender your body and give it over to the silicon gods. Well, that's what Elon wants to do, right? I mean, these Neuralink, all of these things that people are supposedly terrified of, they love Elon Musk, and Elon Musk wants to do a lot of those things, right? So I just am very suspect of hero worship. I think it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea to worship anybody, particularly people with billions and billions and billions of dollars who money's no longer real to them. But God bless. Hey, you own Twitter. God bless. What have you been seeing? Are people taking this hard?
Yes, I mean, even my neighbor cheered as I was walking my dog. She saw me and she said, "Yay, Elon bought Twitter."
She's into it. Yeah, your neighbor's into it.
She's great.
God bless her.
But so the big thing I'm seeing.
What do people think? People really just have surrendered their lives to nonsense. Like, people don't really want to live a life anymore. There's a certain point where I think people just go, I really, truly don't want to do anything anymore. I just want to be a passive observer. Yeah. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be happy about it or you can't be happy about it.
Sure.
But it's like, hey, how about we calm the fuck down? Just calm it down. Yeah, I think it's a good win for a little bit of a reversal that needs to happen. This is a fight that needs to happen. It's a showdown that needs to happen. Tech cannot be monopolized by one group of psychopaths. You need other psychopaths like Elon and his crew. So we have many, many psychopaths deciding what is the best way to destroy all life, which is what tech will do eventually.
Yeah.
But we should have many more voices in the chorus.
Yeah, and suck a lot of the fun out of stuff, right?
Yeah, we'll absolutely suck the fun out of it.
Because, so it says Musk's intention to require authentication for all humans would make anonymous accounts on Twitter impossible and could also lock trans people out of the platform. So,
well, wait a minute. How will it lock trans people out of the platform?
Because I think that wouldn't be their actual identity, right? Because their license or whatever their government.
Listen, man, I know trans people who have a new license with their new name. So this is like, are we talking about real trans people who actually transition, or are we talking about somebody who felt away during a breakfast and now wants to have a party?
So this is what
I know. Real trans people. I know the OG trans people.
Sure.
Like, I mean, I'm not talking about Peter Pan and you know what I mean, and the Tinkerbell and the Lost Boys. I mean, like, are you really going for it? And if you're going for it, God bless, get the new license. Get the new fucking license.
I'm on them.us right now. And them.us says Facebook has already demonstrated
them.us.
Yeah. It's a website called Them.
Okay.
It says Facebook has already demonstrated that requiring authentication of one's identity can endanger queer and trans people, and plenty of evidence refutes the notion that tying one's online identity to one's legal identity creates more safely social media users. So,
well, the whole thing with Twitter is that it's all built on anonymity, right? I mean, not all of it, but there's a ton of anonymous whatever. This whole idea that all these people didn't want to be in a health database, which is completely understandable, that they would then go, hey, I don't like that anonymous egg calling me a faggot. So I want to make, like, I'm going to be okay. Anonymous people say shit to me on Twitter all the time. Real people say horrible shit to me. People who I know. So the idea that like everybody will be authenticated, again, it's one of those things where it's like people are against that until it somehow seems to benefit them. And then they go, no, the grid is a good idea. No, a few months ago it wasn't, but now it is good. No more anonymity. So I don't know. Here's the deal. I think Twitter is a force that is destroying Earth. I mean, I think it's destroying humanity. Now, I think that it has benefits. We've gone viral on it a bunch. We've built a following and a fan base, but that's all of tech, right? All of tech. I'd say the same thing. It's the platform, but, I mean, I just think people, these fights are going to persist, and there's not much. So that's one of his ideas. And another one of his ideas is maybe do an edit button. So you could tweet like I love kittens and then 200,000 people like it. And then you could erase it and then write I love Hitler. And then they've liked that and they don't even know it. That's fun.
Yeah.
Get that in there. That's a fun thing.
And then people are excited that I've seen the chatter. People are excited
right.
that some people may be returning to the platform.
Alex Jones, Milo, Laura Loomer.
Marjorie, Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
Roger Stone, Mike Lindell, Lynn Wood.
The whole gang.
The whole gang.
The whole gang.
The floodgates would open and they could all return back to...
Well, I've always been, a proponent of if you're going to allow people on Twitter to say the most fucked up shit all day, you got to allow all of the people to say the most fucked up shit. Because you can find examples on Twitter of people saying the most heinous shit imaginable.
Sure.
And if you are going to have a platform that allows that, the more the merrier, per se. But I get it, right? Because then you have harassment, you have people breaking laws on the site, you have doxing, you have all those other things, you have these pylons and things like that. Again, it's not a great thing. It's truly not a great thing. And you to the extent that could be fixed or that it can be productive, I don't see that it will be. I think it will die because I think like anything else, it will run its course. I think people are getting bored of it. I think what this really is showing is that the medium is wrong. Yes, it's been managed poorly, and these people in charge are kicking people off they don't like, but they're leaving people on that can say heinous things about their political enemies. But that being said, in totality, the medium itself, I mean, how many new Twitter users are there under 30, right? I don't know. It's a great question. How many new people are signing up for Twitter? I know that Elon tweeted that Truth Social was more popular on the App Store today than Twitter and Instagram or whatever. How many young people are trying to get involved in this? Because isn't that what's going to sustain it eventually? Or maybe once people hit 30, they go, fuck it, I'm getting involved. I know that 90% of Twitter's content is created by 10% of its users.
So I'm showing that, I'm not sure in terms of the data the past week about how many new people are signing up, but 70% of Twitter users are male, 30% are female. Around 23% of all U.S. adults use Twitter. I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah, but use it meaning have it?
Yeah,
right?
They use it daily. So in the U.S., 46% of Twitter users report using Twitter daily.
Okay.
So have signed up. Yeah. So
right.
Here's how many daily active users there are. 38 million in the U.S.
Okay.
That's about 10% of the population, right?
For sure.
Okay. So it's mostly male. The leading countries based on the number of Twitter users are the United States at 77.75 million users, and then Japan at 60 million, and then India at 30 million. Yeah, I'm not sure how many new people have signed up. I'm trying to find the age demographics here because that would be interesting.
I'm just because all I hear about, young people, they talk a lot about TikTok. And they get news on TikTok and they get entertainment on TikTok. I'm wondering how many of them are on Twitter.
Okay, so most of Twitter's audience is 25 to 34 years old, and that makes up 40%. While TikTok and Snapchat have snapped up the younger generation, Twitter also has its target crowd that it appeals to. According to the latest statistics, it is pretty clear that Twitter appeals to a more mature audience than Snapchat or Instagram.
Yeah, that's what I think about when I'm on Twitter, the maturity, the overwhelming displays of maturity.
Sure.
Yeah.
Substack and
it's
culture
people
wars.
are screaming at each other. But I get it. Listen, it's an undeniable force. People get their news on it. I understand why Elon wants it. I mean, I wouldn't want it if I had his money. Fuck it. I don't want that. I would get it and delete it. Buy it and delete it. That's the gangster move. Buy it, delete it. Then buy Facebook, delete it. Buy Instagram, delete it. And then say to the Chinese, Xi Jinping, go, TikTok, that's it. We're all on the talk now. Everybody's on TikTok. But yeah, bring the people back. Let people go nuts. Let the screaming and yelling and crying commence. I mean, sure. Whatever people think's going to help. Hey, whatever gets you through the day. Whatever gets you through the day. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene would be fun. Bring her back. Bring that crazy bitch back. Why not?
She was banned for COVID misinformation.
Bring her back.
Yeah.
I don't agree with any of the COVID banning. Bring her back.
What about like James O'Keefe? That seemed justified.
I don't know what he did.
So he was he was founder of Project Veritas, as you know. He was banned in April 2021 for using multiple fake accounts to artificially amplify or disrupt conversations in violation of the platform's rules against manipulation and
Well,
spam.
that seems like a user agreement thing. But that being said, can they prove that? And here's the thing, right? Can they prove it? Is it hearsay? Is it provable? Have they shown evidence? Should they have to show evidence? Can they just say, yeah, he's manipulating things, he's out?
So they have specific charges against him, but he is filing a defamation lawsuit against Twitter.
So then there should be a process, right?
Sure.
Like there should be he invited me to that crazy musical he did in Miami.
Oh, really?
James O'Keefe, they did like a crazy musical where they're like singing and dancing. No, the country has completely splintered